What's going on YouTube? It's your boy CD. Today we got the Vegito has 0 wins. Argument is stupid and wrong.
Gogeta fans and Vegito haters have been lying to you. They love using this argument that because Vegito hasn't technically killed the opponents he's faced off against, that somehow means he's the weaker and worse fusion and call him a fraud. But today, I'm going to tell you why this argument doesn't work. Now before we get started, I wanted to just say that this fusion war bullshit is so lame and it's just as stupid as the whole console war thing. Like, just because you prefer
Hold on, he actually cooked with that was the console war.
one over the other doesn't mean you have to hate the other or constantly try to prove why your favorite is better. This is a situation where you can have your cake and eat it too. They both exist in the world of Dragon Ball. You can enjoy both. It's not like Toriyama came up to you and told you to choose between Gogeta and Vegito, and whoever you don't choose gets erased forever. For some reason, people choose their favorite of the two and are willing to die by that. This fusion shit gets serious. Regardless, I thought it was important for me to come on here and say that yes, even though, as you can tell by this video, I prefer Vegito, I still love Gogeta and think he's raw as hell. So any points I will be making...
Who's my favorite fusion out of those two? Is it Vegito? Probably Vegito too, but I do love me some Gogeta. Pause. No Diddy. Comment down below who's your favorite fusion.
In this video, are not to try and diminish any of Gogeta's accomplishments, but instead try to highlight Vegito's. With that out of the way, let's get into it. So let's look and see. Why do people say and think that Vegito doesn't win or loses this fight? Well, basically, it's because he gets absorbed by Buhan, and while inside Buu, he gets defused. Which is because, as we learn now with Daima, that Buu secretes a certain gas that separates fusions. But here's why I say that Vegito not only doesn't lose this fight, but actually kinda wins. During the fight with Buhan, Vegito displays how far superior he is to Buu in terms of strength and speed. Like, the dog piss out of Buhan. With a simple Big Bang attack, while still in base, he decimates Buu. And any attack he hit him with, he was left with...
That man Vegito was laughing at Buhan because he uses little Gold Takes attack, the little ghost people. And they was using Goku and Vegeta attacks. The Gallic Gun and Kamehameha. That was so funny.
Not even a scratch. And in the manga, Buu never even touches him during their fight. But then you might ask, if he was so superior to Buu, why didn't he just finish him off instead of toying around with him? And people love using that argument too, that Vegito doesn't get shit done because he goofs off too much in a fight.
Well, maybe because he wanted to save his friends and family? Maybe.
But that's mostly just a misunderstanding of what's actually happening. Now, while Vegito does like to have fun in a fight, because he's an actual unique and fun character, Vegito isn't just taunting Buu and blowing him up within an inch of his life and then letting him regenerate because of his cockiness and simply because he was just playing with Buu for fun, but that all was actually part of his plan all along. He was purposefully trying to get Buu to resort to absorbing him, so he could set the people Buu absorbed already free before killing him. He was showing Buu how much stronger he was and that he could end Buu at any time he wanted. Really quickly, let's look at Gogeta versus Janemba. Why was it that Gogeta was able to show up and erase Janemba from existence in 2 minutes? Because there was nothing holding him back. In Vegito's case, he couldn't just obliterate Buhan without killing Gohan, Goten, Trunks, and Piccolo. Context matters. Vegito clearly showed that he could end the fight with Buhan just as fast as Vegeta ended his fight with Janemba. Like, look at what I'm showing you right now, and then look me dead in the eyes with a straight face and tell me this counts as a loss for Vegito, or doesn't count as a win. If you want to get super technical, and this is why I say this is a win for Vegito, his plan succeeded. Even though he got separated inside of Buu, he still got absorbed and put a barrier around himself so he could set the others free. And what's even more is, he technically does beat Super Buu, because after Vegito's plan works and everyone is set free, Super Buu is no more and he devolves into Kid Buu. So if you want to tell me, even after seeing the ass whooping Vegeta was handing Buu, that it doesn't count because he technically didn't kill Buu, then I'll tell you that it technically does count, because his plan worked and he beat Super Buu. Now let's take a look at the Zamasu fight. Now like before, let's start by seeing why people say this is a loss or doesn't count as a win for Vegito. It's actually almost the same story as Buhan. During the fight, they get defused. Now why is it they get defused this time? There's no Buu gas separating them, so what happened? Well, they explain that because of how much power Blue Vegeta was using, they weren't able to control it, because the blue transformation leaks ki and drains ki incredibly fast. Again, not because he was I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that Vegito wins this fight, and will agree because he defuses right before his final attack and Zamasu, this isn't a win. But I'd like to raise you that if you believe this isn't a win for Vegito, then you also have to agree that Gogeta doesn't have a win against Broly. Let me explain. These fights are almost
I mean, technically, that nigga Broly, and I love the Broly movie too. Technically, that nigga Broly got teleported away, so it is a forfeit. So I mean, it is a forfeit. So technically, Gogeta won. But let me hear his reasons.
identical, especially if you compare the manga Zamasu fight with the Broly fight. Both Gogeta and Vegito are dominating their respective fights, and as they send their final hit to finish off the enemy, something happens and stops the hit from landing. In Vegito's case, it was him defusing, and in Gogeta's, it was Chilai wishing Broly away. People always talk about how Vegito didn't finish Zamasu, so it doesn't count as a win, no matter how badly Vegito was laying into Zamasu. But Broly is also still alive. Gogeta's final attack never landed. He also never technically beat Broly, yet people count that as a win for Gogeta. If you think Vegito's fight with Zamasu doesn't count as a win because he didn't finish him off no matter how badly Vegito beat his ass, then you have to stay consistent and also think that Gogeta's fight with Broly doesn't count as a win, no matter how hard Gogeta was giving Broly the business, because he didn't finish him off.
No, hold on. I'm gonna be honest. If Gogeta didn't turn blue, Broly would have beat Gogeta because he was getting him some hands when he turned green. I'm just saying. And also, I mean, I ain't gonna lie. I get what he mean when he said he said again when
It's true.
when because of Vegito, since he technically didn't beat Fuse Zamasu, Gogeta didn't beat Broly because he got teleported. I could see it, but at the same time, Broly forfeited. I'm gonna be honest. He forfeited because he got teleported away. So, I mean, Gogeta still won, but I could understand his
True for
reason,
Vegito
though.
in the anime. Clearly dominating Zamasu in their fight, and as his final hit was connecting, he defused, which gave Zamasu the counter. And had he had not defused, that punch would have done exactly what he said. And if anyone has any doubts that this punch would have ended the fight, in multiple games, such as Dokkan Battle and Sparking Zero, this move is called Omega Finishing Blow. I have no doubts that this punch would have eviscerated Zamasu, like the final Kamehameha would have done in the manga. The reason I focused more on the manga fight here is because, one, both the anime and manga considered canon to the story, regardless of the differences. But also, Toriyama himself revised and worked along Toyotaro during the making of the Super manga. Both Toy and Toyotaro were given a rubric on how the story should play out, and the differences just lie on how they interpreted these scenarios. But given that Toriyama worked with Toyotaro on the manga, I'd argue the manga is much closer to what Toriyama envisioned in his mind while writing the story. With that being said, this argument that Vegito has 0 wins and Gogeta has 2 are outright wrong. I count the fight against Buuhan a win, considering his plan worked and Super Buu was no more after. Just because he doesn't finish him off doesn't mean Vegito is weak, considering how he was beating Buuhan within an inch of his life constantly without suffering even a scratch. And his fight with Zamasu, sure, may not count as a win, but neither does Gogeta's fight against Broly. As far as I'm concerned, both Vegito and Gogeta have 1 win, and the other, while not exactly a loss, also not counting as a win. And if you
I mean, hold on. If you gonna count the, should I turn on the lights? I'm gonna turn on the lights. You know what? No, I'm gonna raw dog it. Boom! I'm not too black now. Anyways, I mean, if you're gonna count the Vegito win against Boo, then you have to count against count Gogeta win against Broly. I'm just saying, cause like Broly forfeited because he teleported away, and you know that's a dub for Gogeta. I'm just saying, you know. Then again, hey, let me say this again. That dude, Vegeta's my favorite fusion, but I like Gogeta. Gogeta, yep.
You still want to say that Gogeta's fight with Broly is a win, then the same must be said for Vegito's fight with Zamasu, considering those fights play out almost identically. You can try and argue that Gogeta's fight with Broly counts as a win where Vegito's doesn't, because Broly didn't still pose a threat afterwards, whereas Zamasu did. But ultimately, that just comes down to the character differences between Broly and Zamasu and the context of the story. Broly literally couldn't still pose a threat because he was teleported to a different planet. Had Chilai wished Broly to be moved 10 feet to the right and just dodge the Kamehameha, instead, the fight would have still continued as Broly was still standing. Context matters. Broly is also not an inherently evil person, where Zamasu is a literal psychopath. Broly never came back to destroy Goku.
Bro, Zamasu turned evil because he seen two aliens arguing and fighting. And he was like, Dad, these mortals disgust me. These damn mortals. Ugh. One of these days, I'm gonna kill these mortals. Bro, like, there's no way you seen two aliens fighting and you just have hate for mortals. Even though I can understand his reason, but he is a hypocrite. You hate mortals, but you kill them all. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Vegeta and Earth because he was swayed to be a good guy by Goku. Zamasu, on the other hand, could never be changed. He was hell-bent on his Zero Mortals plan and saw what he was doing as just and pure. Context matters. But regardless, the way in which the final attack misses and the differences between the characters they were fighting should be irrelevant to whether or not you count the fight as a win or not, because again, they both play out the same way. Anyway, I just had to get that off my chest, because recently, especially since the release of Sparking Zero, this debate has been heavily sparked up again, and even my friend was debating me recently about Vegito has no wins, how many wins does Vegito have, etc. And I felt like this needed some clearing up. This was just a fun little video I decided to do while I work on my X-Men movie reviews, since I had it on my mind. I hope you enjoyed, I hope you learned something.
I'm gonna be honest. I didn't think thinking like that for Vegito against Buhan. Like he showed Buu how strong he is, so he could absorb him and then to save the others. I didn't think like that. Yeah, okay, great video by Nem. Alright, hope you guys liked the video, the reaction, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. I am out.